Hey everybody, my name is Matt MacArthur. I am running for Congress in the Texas 13th District. Now for those of y'all who are unaware, I'm making these videos so I can speak a little more in depth about issues that I can't really at some of the community forums that go on. It's hard to can an in-depth policy decision or proposal into a 30-second response. So if you are in the Texas 13th District and or you just want to watch me babble about political issues, please feel free to check out this channel, Matt MacArthur for Congress, and take a look at some of my other positions. Now, today I wanted to talk to you guys about hunting and why I'm such an avid supporter of hunting. I like to hunt. I enjoy it. Mostly bird hunting, but there's nothing wrong with taking a few deer and filling the freezer, especially if you got people to feed. Now, I put myself through college working on a quail hunting operation. And I had to take care of the bird dogs. I had to check out the leases that we had. I kept up with the trucks. I basically managed my portion of the operation. And we'd go out and we'd take guys out who paid a lot of money to get to go out on, in this case, the King Ranch and hunt quail. Gave me a good experience in learning how to do it commercially. See, it's easy to go out and shoot some birds, or deer or whatever. The hard part is making sure that you have birds to shoot the next day or the next year. Same with any other wild game. And while my specialty was bobwhite quail, we did deer, nilgai, things like that. Now, if you're from District 13, yes, we have some big cities, Amarillo, Wichita Falls, that sort of thing. But of the 41 counties, I'm going to say 37 are rural, 36 at least. And in those rural counties, hunting has become another industry. It's bigger than just somebody wants to go out and shoot a deer they can put on their wall. People do hunt for food. It helps, especially in these poor communities. It goes a long way to help supplement food. And I know quite a few people here in Dickens County, my hometown of Spur, that when they have a hard time making ends meet, taking a deer and putting some meat in the freezer or some turkeys or whatever else goes a real long way to keeping them solvent and making sure the kids actually have something good and healthy to eat. Over the past several years, we've seen more people get into hunting, especially females. And the reason for it is a lot of them want hormone-free meat. I mean, for those of the people out there who want true organic meat to eat, it's hard to beat wildlife. And that's not just because I'm partial to backstrap, but it's actually factually true. Grass-fed beef is expensive. Grass-fed venison, not as much. Anyway, if you drive through Spur, Texas, starting September 1st when dove season starts, you go by the hotel, you're going to see a big old banner that says Welcome Hunters. And you will see that through most counties in rural Texas. Anywhere there's a hotel, most places where there's restaurants. Cafes open earlier so guys can get breakfast before they go out. They stay later for dinner so that dudes who've been sitting in a deer blind all day can go get something to eat. We so often overlook the economic impact that hunting has. Now, it is needed for population control. A lot of people don't realize that there are actually, as an example, more deer in the state of Texas as of the year 2000 than there were in the year 1900. When it comes to wildlife, we've cured a lot of the diseases and eradicated a lot of the parasites that kept populations in check, and we did it for our livestock, but it also had the unintended benefit of doing it for a lot of wildlife that eat or live in similar habitat. Now, because of that, we do have some population control issues, especially with deer. If you don't believe me, come to District 13, drive down a rural road at night. I guarantee you after a few miles, one will jump out in front of you. But aside from the population control, and I think the state does a pretty good job figuring out how many can be harvested a year, these small communities, landowners are not making a living off cattle or farming the way they used to. They rely on people paying to come out and hunt. And it's good money. It keeps family-owned businesses, farms and ranches solvent that otherwise would fall to the wayside. It keeps population in small towns here because there's a hunting industry. Every decent town, and when I say decent-sized towns, I'm using, Panhandle standards, which is 800 people or more. But any decent-sized town is going to have a processor where people can take their game. That's what used to be your butcher shop, and that's also where people take their cattle or their swine to have them butchered. And those provide a good number of jobs. Making sure that your hotels have people to stay in them, your restaurants have people to eat in them, provide an enormous amount of jobs. If you go to any of the towns around here that have any type of hunting around them, you're going to see a lot of people that I'm not going to say all their income comes from hunting, but a significant portion. And it's the kind of thing that can't be overlooked. And if elected in Congress, you're going to see me approach hunting from a couple points of view. One, we have a lot of politicians, think Massachusetts and California here, that want to do away with what they call trophy hunting. Now, they can't really tell you what trophy hunting is other than they don't like to see pictures of guys posing with a deer that they just shot, usually one that has antlers. Well, trophy hunting, even foreign trophy hunting in Africa, has been proven to boost and keep populations healthier. It's trophy hunting that's allowed the rhinoceros and the elephant to expand in Africa. The same thing has happened with deer here in USA and Texas specifically. But a lot of people don't trophy hunt from, I don't know, I guess what we think of as trophy hunting. They go out and they hunt. They enjoy it. It's time when family can get together. And you're going to see me back hunting rights when somebody from Massachusetts or California, for whatever reason those two states tend to put in politicians that attack hunting, when you see them go after hunting rights, you're going to see me defend them. I'm going to try to expand them. I'd like to see more federal lands opened up to hunting. It shouldn't just be for people who have enough money to get a hunting lease. People with lower income should be allowed to go hunt. When there was a time in my life I didn't have a lot of money, the only way I was able to go hunting or take people hunting was by hunting public lands and here in Texas. I still hunt public lands here in Texas, and I have a place to hunt. I like using them. The quail lease we go to outside of Paducah, Texas, right here in this district, I don't think we even shot any quail off of this year. I just enjoy driving around it. It's pretty. It's nice having the open land you can go expose yourself to, a place where you can go camping. And you're going to see me try to expand that. Why would we have a federal park, a national park, where we're going to pay the rangers to keep up with population control when you can have people pay to do that for them? That's just good business. And you're going to see me try to expand that, especially for things like archery and muzzleloader. You're also going to see me want to put money that we get from some of these federal but also state hunting licenses and permits into improving the wildlife population. Now, there are some counties out here in the Panhandle with bobwhite quail that had a problem with eyeworm, and it did some damage to the local population. I would like to see the U.S. government, when it takes money from hunters, put it back into, one, providing habitat, but also expanding the wildlife. They may have to consider in that particular area releasing some birds to help rebuild it. We want to maintain a natural balance, and sometimes that's going to mean that, I hate to say government intervention, but federal government has the resources, and I think Congress should step in and help out with some of that. You're also going to see me fight gun control regulations. Now, I have seen the state of New York attack muzzleloaders. Now, I don't care how liberal you are, I suspect we could all agree that the Second Amendment at least covers muskets. I believe it covers all firearms, but for those of you who disagree with me, I think we can agree that it covers muskets. A muzzleloader is literally a musket. So, you're going to see me fight gun control regulations that prevent people from being able to hunt. You're also going to see me encourage firearms safety classes and the ability for states and put out some small grants for communities to put them on. People should be able to go hunting safely, should be allowed to, but we need to make sure that there's some classes and training put into it. And if people want to take their kids hunting, I think that it should be affordable to have some hunter safety classes for them. You're going to see me look at areas where hunting is a significant economic impact. And that's true for a lot of the Panhandle. Communities many times make their year economically based off the number of hunters that are coming in. And you're going to see me as a congressman look at that. So for those of you in, I don't know, Hereford, that used to have a lot of pheasants, you're going to see me try to get the government to help rebuild that pheasant population. For areas near Shamrock that used to have bobwhite quail aplenty, you're going to see me work hard to bring that in. When the turkey population has an issue up in the northern Panhandle or down in the southern portion of District 13, you're going to see me want to work and want the government to work with the ag extension agencies and the parks and wildlife to make sure we can build that back up. You're going to see me recommend that the government take some of the money we spend on various national parks and make it conducive for hunters to go out there. See, I'm a guy that, while I enjoy hunting, it's a hobby for me. It's a way for me to take the family out and spend some time with them, doing something we all enjoy. It's also something that I understand has multiple benefits. Environmental benefits. Believe it or not, hunters put more money into wildlife conservation than most environmental groups. In fact, I think all of them, but I'm going to say most to be safe. I'm a guy that understands the economic impact that it has on cities and towns and communities everywhere. If you don't think that hunters have an economic impact, I invite you to go to your nearest Bass Pro or Cabela's or Academy and walk around. Find out what portion of money there is spent by people who enjoy that particular hobby. How many jobs are provided by people who enjoy that particular hobby. The landowners also, I'm going to make sure that I can do anything I can to make it easier for landowners to lease their land or open it up. Because we think of family farms as growing a crop or raising a livestock like cattle. We forget that that land can be multi-purposed. And if cotton has a bad year, that farmer could be able to lease it out and make some of his money back off hunting. In a good year, he makes a little more. For people running cattle ranches, and there's quite a few, having an added buffer from hunters to help make sure that, good year or bad year, some of their money is made from an outside source. It's just good business to have multiple forms of revenue. Now, these are things that are important to me, and I know they're important to District 13. And I don't want to harp forever. If you have specific questions, please feel free to look me up at mattmcarthurforcongress.com. Check me out on Facebook. I'm not hard to find. Or look at this channel. But guys, I have actual experience in the hunting industry, not just by shooting something, but actually doing it for a living, making money off of it. Like I say, I used it to pay for college, and that wasn't cheap. So I am literally the only guy on the stage that understands hunting from a commercial perspective. I'm the only one who can really help put dollar figures on the effect it has for the small communities. So if you're in District 13, and if, like myself, you believe that our hunting rights are vital for the people in District 13 and a continuation of the good economy we have in District 13, then I hope you'll consider voting for me in the Republican primary on March 4th. Anyway, my name is Matt McArthur. If you like this issue, please check out some of the other videos on this channel. And I would very much appreciate your consideration and your vote in the March 3rd Republican primary. Thank you very much.